You ever move to a new place and just feel, well, you can't quite describe it, can you? It's not a good feeling, it's not a bad feeling. It's just this gap, a space between the life you knew and the one you're trying to build. You feel like you're just watching everything happen instead of being a part of it.
Before we get into it, if you enjoy stories like this, please follow the channel and share this video. It genuinely helps this page grow and allows me to create more stories for you. Okay, so let me tell you about Alex. He found himself totally lost, but in the best way, right in the middle of the beautiful chaos of Mexico City.
For Alex, every single day was this huge adventure. But man, it was also a challenge. The food, incredible, but way spicier than anything he'd ever had. And the traffic, it was like a roaring river he just couldn't figure out how to cross. He felt like a tourist with a camera, always on the outside looking in, totally unable to explain this feeling of adjusting. He didn't dislike it, he was just getting used to it. But how do you even say that?
And then, a friend gave him a word, not accustomed, like how we say it with that soft sound, but acostumbrado. Hear that? That O in the middle, acostumbrado? It's such a small difference in the sound, but for Alex, it was the key that was about to unlock his entire world.
And with that one word came this incredibly simple three-part formula. First, estoy, which just means I am. Second, acostumbrado, meaning accustomed. And third, this tiny little word a, which means to. You put it all together. Estoy acostumbrado a. I am used to. It seemed so basic, but for Alex, it was like someone throwing him a lifeline. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. A tiny little detail that matters a lot. The word actually changes depending on who's talking. So if you're a guy, like Alex, you say, estoy acostumbrado, ending with an O. But if you're a woman, you say, estoy acostumbrada, with an A at the end. It's a small rule, for sure, but it makes all the difference if you want to sound natural.
So that night, he's at dinner with some new friends. And the moment comes. The salsa is on another level of hot. His eyes are watering, and everyone's kind of laughing, in a friendly way. But instead of just smiling awkwardly, Alex takes a deep breath, and he says it. No estoy acostumbrado a la comida picante. I'm not used to spicy food. And the whole table just erupted. But they weren't laughing at him anymore. They were laughing with him. And in that one instant, he wasn't a struggling tourist. He was a friend, sharing a moment. He had finally connected.
After that dinner, this little formula became his go-to tool. He started, sentence by sentence, building his new reality. Estoy acostumbrado a trabajar desde casa. I'm used to working from home. Estoy acostumbrado a tomar el camión. I'm used to taking the bus. And with every single phrase, that gap between the person he was and the person he was becoming got just a little bit smaller.
But then, of course, he hit another wall. He was trying to talk about the city's crazy traffic. He said, estoy acostumbrado a el tráfico. I mean, it was grammatically correct, but it just sounded off, clunky. His friend smiled at him. Almost, she said. You're speaking the grammar, but you're not speaking the music.
And this is the secret she shared with him, like a little piece of the city's hidden code. When that little word comes right before the masculine word el, they just kind of melt together. A plus L becomes all. It's not really just a rule you memorize, it's the rhythm of the language itself.
So Alex tried again. Estoy acostumbrado al tráfico. The words just flowed. It was such a tiny change, but it made a world of difference. That was the sound of someone who wasn't just visiting anymore. That was the sound of someone who was starting to belong.
Months flew by. The city's heartbeat started to feel like his own. The traffic that was once just deafening noise became a familiar rhythm. The spicy food wasn't an ordeal anymore, it was just food. And the language of strangers became the everyday chatter of his friends.
One evening, an old friend from back home was visiting and asked him, is it still hard, speaking Spanish all the time? Alex actually had to think about it for a second, and then this huge smile spread across his face. He didn't say, I'm getting used to it. He said, estoy acostumbrado a hablar español con mis amigos. I'm used to speaking Spanish with my friends. And right then, in that moment, he realized the phrase had totally changed for him. It wasn't a tool anymore for explaining what was new or what was difficult. It had just become a statement of fact, a simple description of his life. It was a quiet declaration that this place, this culture, this language, it was part of him now. It was home. In the end, learning a language is never really about the words, is it?
It's about finding these little keys that unlock a completely new way of seeing yourself in the world. If this story moved you or made you think differently, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and follow the channel for more stories like this.